When you hear the sound of the bell, you know you in a championship round, so let's get to it. We don't need much of a fight week recap. Of course, we saw Yokasta Valle in action, still waiting, hourglass emoji for Senisea Estrada. Um, also in that card, you had a nice KO return coming off a loss to Clarissa Shields. I'm not sure if she's had a bout after that. I'm talking about Maricela Cornejo. Nice stoppage, nice stoppage. So, good to see that happen. What I want to talk about though is a myriad of topics, if you will. The first thing I want to get into is a little bit of the back and forth between Clarissa Shields and Shadasia Green. This kind of kicked off over the weekend. And you'll see the theme. You'll see the theme. So um, there was some discussion. I think Clarissa Shields went live. She talked about really the backstory between her issue with Shadasia Green, sparring partners, working together closely, and Shadasia Green going to work with Christina Hammer. Shields' perspective was that Green was like a defector from the camp going over to, like the homie just did in North Korea. Joker ran across the border trying to defect. Apparently, Green's take on it is that it's business and it's not personal. She was going to take the opportunity to travel, take the opportunity to get some money, and take the opportunity. And this is what I thought was important, to test herself against one of the best fighters in the world. Now, if you guys, as in Shields and Green, are sparring, maybe you're giving each other your best, maybe you're not. But maybe in Green's mind, I kind of got a step from underneath the umbrella of my very famous or my well-known compatriot or friend, as it will. So maybe the relationship was designed not to exist for a long time. If they could meet in a bout, sure, I can go for that one for sure. But I think, Shadasia has to focus on creating her own legacy. Shields has already done it, been there and done that. So, eventually the two probably will meet. Now, the theme I'm talking about is also some scuttlebutt, if you will. Clarissa Shields and Chris Cyborg. That I found a little bit more intriguing because of the possibilities, not just in the ring. Of course, I got Clarissa Shields, but the power is always threatening. And could Cyborg pull an Ngannou? Maybe, maybe not. But the opportunity for them to do the crossover bout as far as Clarissa Shields, PFL, right? So she's in MMA. And now here's where, we talk about a little bit of the old flip flop, because now Chris Cyborg is essentially the Clarissa Shields of MMA. So, I'm sure should they work it out, you guys can talk to me, send me a commission for this later. Yeah, it'd definitely be a two fight deal where one is MMA and one is boxing, and you just have the perfect setup, seeing as how Clarissa has already ventured into MMA. So yeah. But you can see Clarissa Shields got a lot of options now. Is this her, poking bears and just kicking up dust and just throwing tantrums, as some people would like to believe, or is this kind of the position, heavy is the head who bears the crown? If you're the GWOAT, you're known as the GWOAT, you will have a lot of people taking shots at you. You have a lot of people detracting, but you also have a lot of supporters. And so, um, hey, I think it's par for the course. But I would like to see some of this stuff, come to fruition. One thing that has always, I think some of us has hindered, Shields is the the lack of quality available opponents. Not her fault, but we got to get her in there. So that's why I guess people, you'd want to see Cyborg, you want to see her in there against Green, and whoever else. But um, moving on, we're gonna move on to another call out, maybe lesser known to you guys, but I'm gonna put both of these women on your radar, if not already, and put this smoke, this beef on the radar, because we need these rivalries, all right? So you don't feel like you don't know where they came from, where the intensity came from. I just got put on to Jasmine Arteaga out of Tampa, Florida, Cubano. Reminds me, and I hate to like have comparisons, but she reminds me a lot of Alicia Bumgarner as far as her confidence, as far as her physique, and as far as her personality. Like she's what they call nice nasty, you know. She may be smiling at you, but you know, she ain't smiling with you. She ain't playing with you. And that's what I get from her. I think she's in the super flyweight division, which would be junior bantamweight. She's called out Salim Urbina, Mexican fighter. I think she's staying in Cali at this point. But listen, it's a good fight. And I think Urbina would be the more known between the two, a veteran herself, you know. And yeah, solid fight. You got to have these rivalries. So it and what you also know about women's boxing, these gals will be on each other's resume a time or two, even as they ascend through the divisions, right? Now, eventually, we're talking about Artesia, that is, or even, you know, Urbina. It's a veteran still, but you know, junior bantamweight ultimately will move you in a direction of bantam and so on. So, you know, we'll see how this thing shakes out. Um, you know, keep your eye on both of those ladies if you're not already familiar. Now, I want to talk about a fight that is not happening before we get to the fight week preview. And this one is out of Canada. You got a Canadian Golden Gloves fighter by the name of Katia Bissonette. She is or has withdrawn from her bout against her opponent, who happens to be a transgender individual. Now, what happened was the fight was signed, the fight was scheduled. Again, this is a Golden Gloves event, um, supported by Boxing Canada, which is the governing body, the national team for you know, for the country, and they did not notify you know, Katia Bissonette of her opponent's identity, if you will. So she only happened to find out through the trainers, and once she found out, she immediately you know, called off the fight, and rightfully so. Now, the thing I gotta say is, shout out to the WBC, because they immediately recognized that this was not healthy, this was not appropriate, this was not safe, and that this was dangerous. However, Boxing Canada was not using their thinking caps, and think about the information that I'm going to give to you, because this is just, she blinded me with science. I'm going to blind you with some science, ladies and gentlemen. um it's a fact, all right? Men punch 2.6 times more powerful than women. What that means is that a woman can generate 108 watts of power per punch, but a man can generate 282 watts of power per punch. So um, it's just not a fair fight. It's not a good opportunity, and it's very dangerous. So you know, we got to pay attention to what's happening, and I just don't understand why the officials, again, shout out to the WBC, but I don't understand why the Golden Gloves officials wouldn't notify this fighter of such a dangerous disposition. It's like loaded gloves, essentially. We're having talking about, you know, risking a fighter's health. So this is just something you just don't want to see. You don't want to happen. All right. Now, we're glad that that fight is not happening. So now we got to talk about the fights that are happening. All right. This weekend, believe it or not, we got some good work out there. The UK's own Ebony Jones, she is a 4-0 featherweight fighter. She's in action out in Brighton, and that's on the undercard of a Harlem Eubank something or other happening. So, you know, tune into that one. That's on Friday. Um, Also on Friday, you'll have I believe she's more of a prospect. She's from Las Vegas, Yadira Bustillos. She's 8-1. She's in the strawweight division, so she'll be in action on Friday as well. But I think the most entertaining, the most exciting, and the fight that probably has the most, I guess, championship value is Irma Garcia versus Stephanie Silva. Now, Garcia is an interesting fighter. She is 22, 5-1 out of Mexico. All 5 losses were championship bouts, right? Stephanie Silva is 8-0 out of Italy. Here's the catch. This is a championship bout. It's for a vacant title. So I don't know if Garcia just shit the bed every time she's in a title bout. But maybe this is her opportunity. Damn, So yeah, that's why you got to tune in to see what happens. Does history repeat itself, or does she finally get her crack at a world title? So yeah, that's what we got going on in the world of women's boxing. But remember, women's boxing is boxing, and boxing is this thing of ours. So don't forget to check out the championship rounds. I may or may not be putting something up, but it is quite a few men's cards. So I'm probably going to be doing a fight week preview of that stuff, but more or less, man, I got my eye on the gals, man. The gals, them sugar, that's me. All right, I'm out of here.